Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast. My name is Mike Redmond, and I'm here tonight with my wife, Eileen Redmond. And tonight, as you guys join us, we're going to talk all the things. Someone had asked me, what are you going to talk about tonight? And I said, everything, all the things. So those of you that join us, feel free to ask questions in the comments. Tonight, actually, we had some outside plans that fell through, so this is kind of a spontaneous thing. So Jake and Darren won't be joining us tonight, but they'll be back on our next live. Shout out to both of them. But thank you guys for being with us. We'll give it a few minutes here before we kind of get into stuff as we wait for people to jump on. We're just kind of sending this out now. But we got the cool music in the background, so that's a cool little addition for right now. A little bit of rock music. So, yeah. And Mike Clark has joined us in the chat. Hi, Mike. How you doing? Good to have you on here.
How you doing?
Just sending to a few more people, and then we will go get it going. But I'm sure you guys have watched a lot of football today, so when we do start, we're gonna start right off the bat with football. So just be a little more patient as we send these last few messages out here.
So while everybody's waiting, I hope that you guys can drop a message in the chat. If you're here and you want to talk about one of your favorite teams, let us know which one is your favorite team. Let us know who your favorite player is, which version of their jersey you like the best. I know with baseball they have lots of different versions of jerseys. I know football is pretty much just away or home or throwback. I absolutely hate the Tampa Bay Bucks throwback jersey. It looks like a creamsicle. So yeah, just drop a message in the chat. Let us know who's your favorite player, your favorite team, who you're keeping an eye on this season, and anything else you want us to know. And then also, if you haven't already, you're a good viewer. I know you probably already have. But if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe because we are trying to get up to like 1,500 subscribers. I know we just reached 1,000. Thank you so much for all your guys' support and everything like that. So yeah, 1,500 is our new goal. Right, Bill?
Yes, it is. And
why are there fireworks behind me?
Oh, wow. He said, maybe because you said congratulations. Maybe that's why. I don't know. That was pretty cool.
No idea.
Yes. But Eileen is right. We did hit the 1,000 subscriber plateau last week. And I am pleased to report we are at 1,101 subscribers. So another 101 subscribers in the last 10 days. That is awesome. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Just giving it one more minute and then we'll get started. People can jump on as they see that we're live. Just sending this out to a few more people so that they know that we're up there. Right. Cool. I think that is good for now. All right.
I dropped my phone.
Okay. So I've sent it to a good amount of people. Those of you that joined us, like Mike Clark and others, feel free to share with anyone you know. It looks like we have 4 people in there now, so don't be shy. Put a comment, thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. What do you call it? So, yeah. So at this time, again, we are going to get things started. But before we do all that, every time we go live, we have to shout out to our sponsor at Nashville Tax Solutions. Christopher Bennett and his team have supported us from day one when we were just at 135 subscribers just a few months ago. And to see the growth at over 1,100 is awesome. So with that said, Nashville Tax Solutions, whether you need to file years of missing returns, a current year return, or you need relief from a tax lien or levy, Nashville Tax Solutions has the solution for you. Nashville Tax Solutions, your trusted partner in the tax resolution industry. They understand the stress and confusion that tax problems can bring, and that's why they're here to offer clarity, relief, and peace of mind. Listen to what people are saying about Nashville Tax Solutions. I recently had the pleasure of working with Christopher Bennett, the owner of Nashville Tax Solutions, and I must say his knowledge and expertise in tax matters is truly impressive. He was able to provide clear, and concise explanations, ensuring that I fully understood the process and the best course of action for my situation. His professionalism and attention to detail were evident throughout the interactions. Nashville Tax Solutions saved me from a financial nightmare. They're not just experts in tax resolution, they're compassionate too. Don't let tax problems weigh you down. Contact Nashville Tax Solutions today and let them guide you toward a brighter financial future. Call Nashville Tax Solutions 615-502-2250. Check out their website, nashvilletaxsolutions.com, or send an email to info@nashvilletaxsolutions.com, where tax resolution is achieved. So once again, thank you, Christopher Bennett. Thank you, team at Nashville Tax Solutions, for all that you do. We appreciate you guys very much. And as we get this thing going, we love the rock music, but I'm gonna take that down for right now, so we can get into the good stuff. So Eileen, as we get started, we just had a listener with a comment that I will not read out loud, but we appreciate him being with us in the chat. T.E. Lawrence, welcome to Around the Ballpark. But all the things. So as we talk about all the things, and again, as you're watching this, share, subscribe, like, thumbs up, all that good stuff with anyone that you know. So Eileen, let's go ahead and talk NFL football first. The last couple Sundays, we've highlighted a different team. So we're not going to highlight a specific team tonight, but we're going to talk about this week 4 of the NFL season. So on your end, I believe you have some games and some results listed for the viewers that might have not got to see much action today. I know I was hooked on baseball today, so I watched minimal football on my end. But Eileen, if you wouldn't mind sharing what you have on your end.
Yeah, sure. So I caught the tail end of the Bucks and Philly game. And so, because, church and everything. So the Bucks were able to pull it off, 33 points, and Philly had 16 points. And so there was almost a pick six there in the last quarter. Almost. I felt like it should have been a pick six, but the referee said that he didn't have control of the ball before he hit the ground. Bananas. But we also have Atlanta with 26 points and the Saints with 24 points. So that's a little bit shocking. I kind of thought that the Saints were going to win. They usually always are a really tough team. And so I believe the Bucks are going on the road to Atlanta next week. So that might be dicey. And then we also have Cincinnati. They took the win. They had 34 points. Carolina, sorry, Mike. They did not win. 24 points. We have the Chicago Bears. The Bears. They drive the Bear bus. Do you guys remember that, Spiff? Okay. They had 24 points, and LA only had 18 points. I didn't get to see that game, but I bet that was a good game. Minnesota. They had 31 points, was their final, and Green Bay only had 29. Wah, wah, wah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Minnesota is actually undefeated, sitting at 4-0, which is impressive. If not, they're 3-1, but they're having a very good season, scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, that is very impressive. The Vikings have been a pretty tough team in the recent years. So the next is that we have Houston. They took the win with 24 points. And Jacksonville Jaguars, they made me sad. They went down to 20 points. Would you mind texting Brooklyn to get that buzzing sound?
Okay. Well,
that's our dryer. Sorry, guys. We're amateurs. We're figuring things out. So let's move right along. We got Indiana. One time my mom bet on Indiana. We won $500 that night. I just always want to tell everyone that because it's really cool. So they took the win, 27 points over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry, Emmeline Bonilla, if you're out there today. They only had 24 points. But that must have been a really good game because it was only a 3-point differential. So they probably put up a fight. Let's see. We have Denver. They had 10 points, so they took the win. And the Jets only had 9. That must have been a rough game to watch. That's all I got to say. I'm going to leave that right there. And so, yeah, that concludes the games that I know took place before. There's still some games going on. If I did miss any games, feel free to throw the points in the chat and the results in the chat as well. I also want to say that is the end of baseball season. and the Rays did not get into the playoffs, and I'm very sad and bitter. So Boston took the win. They got 3, Rays got 1. So, but what do you expect? The Rays lost 82 games this year. So, again, bitter.
So a few things there with what you shared. Shout out to Brian Anderson is joining us. The Commanders sitting there at 3-1. I believe they lost week 1 and put out 3 solid wins in a row. Everybody kind of thought Philadelphia is going to be that team. Dallas is going to be that team. We know New York Giants was not going to be that team, but Washington's looking great. 42-14 today. And mark your calendars, October the 20th, Sunday night, October the 20th, 8 p.m. We're going to have Brian Anderson on with us live to talk Washington Commanders football. Still feels weird to say Commanders, but we'll go with it.
Does. I know. I want to say Redskins. It's weird. And Brian was saying he's not even sure what a commander is. So I'm sure they're in some sort of armed forces somewhere doing something, commanding something.
Yes. T.E. Lawrence with some kind words, just that he loves football, can't get enough, wishes there were 7 days a week of NFL action. Just kind of reading through his comments here. He loves everyone and that the country is in a great place. Awesome comments. I kind of summarized a little bit. Might not be the exact wording he used, but it's close enough. But yeah, like Brian said, not even sure what a commander is. So with the NFL, though, we've noticed that it really is any team can beat any team on any given Sunday. You look at a team that's 0-3 that can put up 42 points just like that against the top team. You look at Tampa Bay last week, dropped the goose egg or barely scored any points against the Denver Broncos team that was lifeless for 2 weeks and couldn't muster up anything. And then today they do what they did against Philadelphia. So again, anybody can beat anybody. Just got to get into the playoffs, but every loss counts. It's a much shorter season than Major League Baseball. So definitely got to keep that in mind. And so also wanted to kind of dive into Major League Baseball. So as Eileen mentioned, today was the last day of Major League Baseball season. Unfortunately for T.E. Lawrence, I know he's really upset about that. But so with that said,
he's going to get himself grounded in a minute.
Yes. But so today there were a lot of teams that already clinched going into today. So today was meaningless for most of Major League Baseball. But there are still 2 spots up for grabs in the National League with 3 teams left to play. So going into today, if the Arizona Diamondbacks got the win or got the loss and the New York Mets got the win, they would both, the Mets would be in and that would be it. However, Arizona put a pounding on San Diego Padres 11-2. So at this point, they're just in waiting mode. The Arizona Diamondbacks season to get to the playoffs is up to the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. And as we're sitting here tonight, the Braves fell 4-2 to the Royals, but the Mets got the 5-0 win over Milwaukee. So what does that mean? Not much, because tomorrow the New York Mets have to fly back to Atlanta. They were supposed to play there Wednesday and Thursday, but Hurricane Helene did its damage. So here's setting the stage for tomorrow. If you're a sports fan, I don't know how you're going to get much work done tomorrow. 1 o'clock, the New York Mets play at Atlanta Braves. If the Mets win that game, the Mets clinch a playoff spot. If they lose that game but win the second game, they also clinch a playoff spot. So the Mets just need to win 1 and they're in. Atlanta, same thing. They just need 1 and they're in. The Diamondbacks, unfortunately, they can only get in at this point if the Mets or the Braves were to lose both games. So that's the only way they can get in. So unfortunately, they're going to be sitting watching the television like everybody else to know if they can move on into the postseason.
So wait. I got a question.
Yes.
Walk me through this because I'm a little slow and I'm tired. So the Diamondbacks get in if the Braves win or if the Mets, but if the Mets and the Braves are playing each other, so they're basically going to get in no matter what.
the way
Am
the
I wrong?
Diamondbacks are in the standings, that they basically need a team, the Mets or the Braves, to have 2 more losses than they currently have right now. That's the
Oh,
only way they can get in. So they are hoping that one of those 2 teams loses both games. So they probably
okay.
don't have the first game, they're just going to watch it happen. But after that first game, you better believe they're going to be cheering on the other team because their season depends on it. So Brian Anderson puts, it's the Yankees' year. Baltimore looked like the team to beat in the American League, and they still got in, but they kind of just tripped in. I don't know what happened that last month and a half. Did not have a lot of offense.
Prescription.
Yeah.
Brian, we're supposed to be friends, okay? Friends don't let friends root for Yankees. Coming to
I
your
mean,
house.
Diamondbacks can get in if they buy a ticket to the Yankees game.
Oh,
Not sure if they can afford a ticket to the Yankees game, but
that was harsh.
yeah. T.E. Lawrence again talking about how he loves the movie Cars. And let's see here. Talking about the wind, how it blows nicely. That's cool. I'm summarizing, not his exact words that are being put on the screen. But so if you are a baseball fan, enjoy tomorrow because, if you're an Atlanta fan, what are you doing watching this show? No, if you're an Atlanta fan, if you're a New York Mets fan tomorrow, your eyes are going to be hooked on that television. And so it is what it is. Playoffs begin on Tuesday. So it's an exciting week to be a baseball fan, especially if your team is in the playoffs. So, and so, all right, T. Lawrence, you're on a roll there.
T. Lawrence, you're grounded. You're so grounded.
Yep. So we've kind of,
It's
we
not
talked
Aiden,
about,
by the way, you guys. Just to make that clear, it's not Aiden.
but if there are any questions, those of you watching along, go ahead and throw them in the chat before we kind of go on to our next topic. But just wanted to thank you for being on with us tonight. We've got so much more to talk about. As we said, this is called All the Things. So at this point, Eileen, where do you want to go next? I'll throw the ball in your court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about kids ministry. I guess that's the first thing on my mind, usually on Sundays. And so Saturday night, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. Sunday, I'm thinking about how I'm doing it. And Sunday night, I'm thinking about what I did. So if that's a snapshot into my brain, I think that these past couple weeks in kids ministry, and I know that's like a hard U-turn. It's like sports, kids ministry, but you threw the ball at me, so here we go.
Yep.
So I know we have actually 2 of our viewers are volunteers in our kids ministry, and so for the last, I feel like 3 weeks, due to some reason or another, we have been shorthanded for some reason or another. And the people that are on our team that were especially at the meeting today and everything like that, like, I feel like Brevard County needs to know that Palm Bay, the house church specifically, has the best kids ministry in the county, hands down. We have so much fun. Our teachers want to be there. They're coming up with different ideas, different games they could play, different lollipops they could give out for Bible trivia, stuff like that. Like, it's awesome. And Mr. Brian was dancing around today. I saw you, so don't act like you weren't. He was having fun and everything. And so I just think that I just am so grateful. That's where for the past hour and a half, I've been thinking about how grateful I am that everybody showed up. And if those who couldn't show up, we understand, we pray for you. We hope that everything works out. And, for those that did show up, it was awesome. They were much appreciated, and I'm super, super grateful. So that's where my brain is for the moment. And go Bucks.
So you brought up children's ministry, and we've been fortunate to do this for a good amount of time. You a lot longer than me, but it's a joy. Now, we all know that there's never going to be a perfect morning where you just wake up on the right side of the bed and you're just smiles and but I could honestly say, like, while there's been some mornings where it's like it's a rush and should have got this done and should have remembered this, like, it's been a joy from day one on both of our levels to be able to. One thing they say at our church is not that we don't have to, but we get to do this. And every Sunday morning, we are excited about going to church. There hasn't been a Sunday morning that I can think of where we're like, oh, I just want to roll over. I just want to stay in bed. We really enjoy what we do. And I know there's a lot of challenges along the way, but that makes the ministry that much stronger because your A+ players, they step up. And those that are not quite there yet, they see those A+ players step up and eventually they step up too. So we're grateful from the person that comes that has the most experience all the way down to someone who just started a week ago. We had someone that came today that served last week, wasn't even on the schedule this week and showed up anyway and thought she was serving again. And so that's an awesome heart. And so I really appreciate that, that support.
And I think that a lot of people might be wondering, like, okay, we're just talking about sports and now we're talking about faith. But like, a lot of players, like Mike and I are part of a church league. We play recreational softball. So a lot of our people, members on our softball team, are also members of our church as well. So when you integrate faith in with sports, it's so fun. It's so fun. And that it's like, okay, I'm using the skills and the talents and the strategies that God gave me that I can use for one, fellowship with the rest of these teams and people and other people from other churches, because we're seeing people from Eastwind, we're seeing people from First Baptist, we're seeing people from Centerpoint. Is there an elevation team out there? I don't know.
Not this season, no.
Not this season. Okay. But we're seeing a lot of people from other churches too. So it's really, really cool when we all get together and we play together in the name of Jesus. It's like awesome. And so this season, we won the B bracket for our team. So our softball team is called the House Church Softball Team. And so we have, I don't know our record 100%. I know that we won both games last week. And so it's been really fun. We finished out last season we won the lower B bracket. So we are the winners, but we were a little fish, or no, what is that saying? Big fish in a little pond, right? So now, boom, we go to the big pond. Well, we're kind of little fish in the big pond. And so I don't want any of our players or any of our families or any of our viewers to think, oh no, they're not doing good anymore. Actually, some of the plays that I've been watching, and I've been coaching a lot, I haven't been playing on the field as much. Some of the plays that I've been watching are phenomenal. We have players that started out 3 seasons ago that had never touched a softball in their life. And now, I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say his name or not. I'll ask his mom for permission later. But we have a guy who's 15 years old, and you guys probably know his name. But what did he get? Like 3 home runs last game? Like, he's on fire. He's phenomenal. Never touched a softball a day before in his life. Maybe he had, maybe just playing with his dad at home and stuff, but like never played in a league before until 3 seasons ago. And now he's just one of our star players. And like, we have another guy who is kind of like, I'm not super religious, but I'm going to come hang out and see what you guys are doing. And okay, and then all of a sudden I notice he's in our prayer circle now. And he's praying with us. When we do our team huddle, we're doing a team prayer and we're praying together. And it's been so awesome how our team has really just gone above and beyond. And even though we may not be getting the W on paper, I'm seeing these plays. Like, this team is really, really coming together and making sensible plays, not just overthrowing to get it there fast. They're making sensible plays. They'll hold on the ball when they see that the play's already made and they got to hold the ball instead of throwing it fast. Just hold the ball and don't let the runner get to the next space. And so sometimes our male testosterone, not mine, but your guys's male testosterone steps in. It's like, but I want to make the play. And so it's like that's where I can see Jesus is like speaking peace on our team. You know what I mean? And it's working really, really well. And I'm just really, really proud of everybody that's on our softball team and that comes out and supports our softball team. And if you haven't had the chance yet, get out to our softball fields on Tuesday night. Games can be anywhere between 6:30 and 8:30. We play at Liberty Field on Emerson Road or Drive or Boulevard, or I'm not sure. Here in Palm Bay, Liberty Park. And just get out there and bring out some cash. There's a guy who's selling, he's got a hot dog vendor truck, and you get a hot dog and a Coke and some chips, and come out and cheer us on because we're on fire.
Yep. And speaking of, that was good. Speaking of our softball team, shout out to another one of our players on the team. His name is Matthew. Has been with us since the beginning on our softball league, and I want to shout out to his mother, Laura Carson. Thanks for joining us. You are on with us here and around the ballpark, so good to see you in the chat. But Matt, it's just awesome to see the development from where he came from. Again, never touched a softball to now he's playing first base. And he's doing so really, really well. This is the first. It's not easy. You think first base, you just got to catch the ball. No, those balls don't just come to your glove. They come over your head. They come at your shins. They bounce. They go this way. They go that way. But he's making strides. And she mentions hopefully she can get out soon after LCU on Tuesday nights. Myself and Laura, we both go to Life Christian University on Tuesday night. So Eileen is the coach of the team. Joe Alessandro as well. But I get out there when I can, but it's just awesome. It really is a ministry. Yes, it's softball. Yes, we're having a good time, but there's a ministry there. There's 12 teams that are Christ followers that go out there and just give 100%. There's no drama. There's no cussing. There's no alcohol. There's no drugs. It's just people going out there, having a good time, fellowshipping with each other, lifting each other up in prayer after the games. And it's a lot of fun. Really exciting to see where the team has come from. And even though we lose a few people here and there, we get a few more that are just like the perfect fit. So, and T.E. Lawrence had asked, how much do they pay you to lie? No, I'm not lying here. Great question though. But, on Tuesday nights though, there's a lot going on. So she's holding the fort down at the softball field while I'm doing my thing, Life Christian University. Shout out again to Laura, second-year student now. So I know already about to start my third class this coming Tuesday. That's super cool. So just great things. Another thing, we're talking about all the things, right? So some of you that might be on, maybe you're not, maybe you don't know what a connect group is, but that's another opportunity to really fellowship. We all have so much going on, our work lives, our family, all the commitments that we have, but a connect group, we're part of one. We go to couple's house and we really just engage with them. We talk about all different sorts of things that relate to our everyday lives. And we really get in there. There's a book to read, there's workbooks, there's devotionals, there's food shared, and just we hang out. And if you're not already a part of a connect group, definitely encourage you to see what they're about and see who all is offering, because maybe you're not available certain nights of the week, but it seems like there's one available for every time. So reach out if you're not familiar with one. That is an awesome opportunity to really get more into the word, but also to really meet some good people that become like family to you. And so Eileen obviously knows we talk about, we go together on Saturday night, such a great time. So really look forward to that. Can't believe we're already 3 weeks into that. But yeah, so as you guys will talk about some more things here, we're on until 8:30, but if you have any additional questions that make sense, T.E. Lawrence, go ahead and throw them into the chat there. Shout out to the 8 of you guys that are on right now. It's kind of going back in and out. I know sometimes it's hard to jump on a Sunday night. So those of you that are with us, we thank you in advance. So is there any, I'm not going to dive too much into this, but Mike, if you're still on, I know hockey season is also getting ready to start as well. I've not really watched a lot of hockey, but I know it's big down here. So if you are still on, Mike, kind of give us a preview of what the Florida Panthers, I know that's your team. They've seemed to make the Stanley Cup every year, but that's about to start up as well. So again, very exciting time to be a sports fan. And then National Basketball League, it starts up in, I think, a month or so. So it just seems like everything's going on at once right now. So this is really college football. Eileen, if you want
Oh
to
yeah,
share,
we're going to a UCF game very
yeah,
soon, right?
yeah, let's get into that a little bit. So
Yeah.
anyone that hasn't been to UFC, the University of Central Florida Stadium, the Bounce House, what can they expect?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you go to a UCF game and you have really cool friends that are alumni from the UCF, they will get you into the alumni center. And so that's a really cool experience when you get to go and you get to ride the bus. You get to park off campus for free and you get on the bus and you ride the bus in. So you don't have to deal with traffic, you don't have to deal with parking, but that's only for the alumni. So shout out to our really good friends, Joe Alessandro and Abigail Alessandro, who let us hang out with their alumni perks. And so after our bus ride in, we get to the alumni center and they have food, they have drinks. It's just like a fun family atmosphere. And then when you're walking, you leave there after you have a good, like some of the best pulled pork that I've ever had in my life was at the UCF Alumni Center. I'm not exactly sure the name of the restaurant that sponsors it. I want to say it's like Sweetwater's or something like that. Something with water. So I'm sorry if I don't have it right. Maybe Joe, if you're on here or if you see this later, you can just drop that in the comments. Let everybody know where those pulled pork sandwiches came from. They were so good. And then we take a walk after we leave the alumni center. We're walking and we're just like walking past. There's this just big field. And in this big field, like all the college kids, now they're partying a little bit because, you know, that's the party scene. But there's some that aren't. And then there's a live band that's usually playing. A long time ago, unfortunately, before he passed on and went to heaven, Smash Mouth was there. And so that was really cool, getting to see Smash Mouth live and everything. Because when they were big and I really liked them, I was only like 11 or 12. So I wasn't old enough to go see them live. So then once I was finally old enough to see them live, I got to see them at a UCF game. And then as you're walking towards the gates, if you time it out just right, which Joe Alessandro loves to time it out just right because he knows how much I love the marching band, you can be at the gates as the band is marching by, and it's really cool. That's a really cool just scene and the whole cool sensation and everything. Then you get into the stadium, you get into your seats. It is unreal. They call it the bounce house because they're bouncing. There's a song that comes on, and I'm not going to sing it because we don't want to hear me sing, but it comes on, and when it comes on, everybody starts bouncing, like, and it's crazy, and you can hear the metal in the stadium bouncing, and you don't feel unsafe. Like, it's never going to crash or anything, so don't worry about that. But it's really cool that the reason why they call it the bounce house is because it's literally you're bouncing, and then like the band does all kinds of pep music throughout the game and everything, and they have so many fun things like the third down, they do like a fun symbol and yell, and then they also do like a fun UCF score, and then they sing the songs and everything. It's just a really, really, really fun atmosphere. So even if you don't like football, I suggest going to a UCF game because it's just so much fun. If you like marching band and you like anything that has to do with a band, go, because their marching band and their pep band music is phenomenal.
Yeah, and we're getting to take our children for the first time, so super excited for that. I hope they have a good time. You know, the good thing about Bounce House Stadium is if they just try to stand there with everybody bouncing, they're probably going to get some airtime either way because people do not sit still at that game. They are constantly moving. I've always been a person who enjoyed football more on TV, but when you go to a college football experience, it's a little bit different than the NFL. There's not a lot of downtime. Now, with that said, those of you that have been to a college football game live, the TV timeouts, that's a lot because they're going to timeout every 2.5 minutes. So there is a little bit of standing in line, but the actual on-field play, it just keeps going and going. So question that came in, I answered it in the chat, but anyone else that wants to chime in, World Series prediction was the question. So as much as it pains me to say this, I think it's going to be the Yankees and the Padres. And I say that because the Yankees are clearly, even though they're not the best team 1 through 9, they clearly have enough pitching, and they have the top tier hitters in the league right now. They're just the most consistent. So Yankees for me. Everybody else is close, but not quite to their level. In the National League, though, there's something about, if you remember last year, it was the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers in the World Series. Not exactly a gradings grabber, but the Arizona Diamondbacks were the hottest team in the league the last month in the season. They carried the momentum to the playoffs and eventually got to the World Series and just fell short to Texas. So with that said, San Diego Padres, I think they're on some crazy like 43-11 run right now. They're just winning ball games. They have a guy on the team who's winning his third consecutive batting title. So even though they're a wild card team, not going to have home field advantage, anything like that, there's something to having that team that is the hottest and winning when it counts. So as much as I'd love to say the Mets, they're not even in yet. They got to win tomorrow. There's some other teams. Watch out for the Detroit Tigers, too. They literally, about 3 weeks ago, were almost mathematically eliminated, and they have won, I think, 18 of 20 games, something like that. So there's some hot teams, and that's why I think Yankees over Tigers and Padres over Dodgers. Love the Dodgers falling short every year. It's like tradition, and at this point, it's exciting to see who they're going to lose to, because they always think they're going to the World Series and then something goes wrong. But they do have the best baseball player on the planet on their roster. So, yeah. And so, we, as we're talking about everything, Marianne Redmond's in with us. So we got to talk just for a minute about Big Brother, right? So those of you that watch reality TV, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But Big Brother is a show. There's so many twists, so many turns, and just so many characters. I mean, there's so many people on that show that just, how can these be real human beings, the way that they act, the way that they talk? But I guess and the premise of the show is you're cooped up in a house for 90 days, and each week you got to go through challenges and games to keep your safety, and you got to turn your back on people and form alliances, and all this crazy stuff goes on. And so there's so much drama in a show like this. But Eileen, like, those of you that are not watching this season, who is, as of right now, who is your pick? We're sitting here with, I think there's only 5 people left in the game, but right now you had to call it, who's winning Big Brother 2024?
Who's winning? Wow.
Winning, yes.
That's a hard one. I don't like her, but I think Chelsea could do it. She can somehow, I don't know if you guys know Chelsea, but she is manipulative. She can get people to do what she wants, even when she's not the head of house. She has another guy in her pocket. I don't even think he likes her. I think he's scared of her, to be honest. She's an alpha female. Maybe that's why I don't like her, because, I don't know. But I think Chelsea's going to win it. But I think the final 3 is going to be Mackenzie, Cam, and Chelsea. Just because I think they're going to bring Cam, because he's a no-brainer. He's never wins anything. He doesn't have a target. Like, he doesn't ruffle feathers or anything. He just does what he's told. I can see Mackenzie pulling it out and winning it all, because at the end of the day, she's very smart too, and she's athletic, and she's good at comps. She's good at the mind games. She's good at but I wish she had a little more backbone. And I see Chelsea over manipulating Mackenzie a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah. And those Big Brother fans, tonight's episode's not on until 10:30. So most of you are asleep by then. But that is when it's on. But in terms of that show, there's just it's hard to explain the rules of the show, but it is worth watching. It's one of those shows where you kind of have to shut your brain down for a little bit and just kind of let the TV just be on and but get into it. Give it a couple episodes. You might actually enjoy it. T.E. Lawrence, not a fan of Big Brother, but a big Kardashian fan. Apparently he's really into that. That's, you do you. That's cool. God has not returned because the Kardashians are still with us. It's a bit harsh. But hey, that's that's honesty. That's okay.
You are so grouted.
Right? I agree. Um, but outside of Big Brother, of course, there's not. We're kind of 2024. We're not really in a state where we're like, oh, this show got to watch it. This show got to watch it. We all have been accustomed to, your Netflix, your Peacocks, your Disney Plus, all that kind of stuff. So those of you in the chat that are, that are still here, I see 7 of you in there. What is something right now that we may not be watching that we should be getting into? I know there's some good shows on Netflix every once in a while. They kind of come there, they go the ups and downs and things like that. There's a lot that we won't watch. We, certain content we don't really want in our household to be showing. So we're very particular about what we put on. But there's, sometimes there's a gold, diamond in the rough or something. So go ahead and throw something that maybe you've seen recently that we're not watching that maybe we should. But yeah, I mean, now 2024, it's really up to the year of streaming. I wish you would think by 2024 we could have a pay per channel system where I can just pay for like the channels I want and that's it, and not have to have, because we don't want the $200 cable bill. But then by the time we add up all our subscriptions, it can get out of hand if you don't. You have to let some go. So, and but Eileen, is there a show that our listeners might not have seen that you can think of that you would highly recommend to them on one of those streaming platforms that you've seen recently? Feels like they're in a lull right now. Like I feel like there's been a while since something new. Like we're watching shows from many, many years ago compared to something just released now. But
yeah, I've been watching a lot of reruns of Seinfeld and The King of Queens. And I know we all love to watch Friends on reruns, but we don't have HBO anymore because it got too expensive. But one that I've been wanting to watch is it just came out, and it's not a show, it's a Christian movie, and it's about a kid that plays video games way too much, and like my son. I can't remember the name of it, but I've been wanting to watch it a lot. And so I know it was at the theater for a while. It's not anymore. I don't know, but I can't think of the name of it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But some of our listeners have put in Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. Mom's a big fan of that show. Also, Brian mentioned The Chosen. Obviously, that is a great one as well. So with The Chosen, those of you that know that show, they actually started showing that in the movie theater prior to release on their streaming platform, and that's always a fun experience, going and seeing so many people and seeing it on the big screen versus watching it at home. Really was enjoyable for sure.
I really loved The Chosen so much because I'm a very visual learner, and so now I do want to preface, there are some things that happen in the show that didn't necessarily happen that exact way in the Bible. So it kind of fills in the gaps a little bit. So not to say that it's blasphemous though, because I love it. It was so good. So what I enjoyed the most, there's a scene where I don't know if a lot of you know my past, but it was a little shaky. There was some addictions going on in my past. And so when Mary Magdalene, she's in the show The Chosen, and she's like stumbling out of the bar. And Jesus is like calling her, talking to her, da 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 da. And he finally calls her by name, and she drops her cup, and it shatters on the ground. And she turns around, and he says the name, the thing of, I have called you, you are mine. And she just like collapses into him and like puts her head on him, and she's crying. But it's like, it's that moment of like, oh, my Redeemer, he's here to rescue me. Like, oh, thank God, get me out of this crazy stupor where I've numbed my mind. He's here to rescue her. She doesn't have to be scared anymore. So that was one of my favorite moments from that show. It was so good. And then the other one is when one of the ladies the lady with the woman with the issue of blood, and she was trying so hard, pushing through the crowds, pulling people, just all this stuff, right? She finally gets to just the hem of his garment, and she falls, and she's in the dirt, and he gets down in the dirt and lifts her head. I just think there are so many scenes that where he gets down and he lifts the person up. He looks at them and lifts their chin or their head. And that's what Jesus does. He lifts people up. When you read his word, and when you start getting around church people and you start focusing on fellowship and faith, and you get lifted up a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of it. And then you add, it just moves me so much. And I love that visual aspect of it. And I absolutely love that he actually has a Middle Eastern accent and not a British accent like the other Jesus that we got from back in like the 60s or something. I like the Middle Eastern Jesus better. Yes. Hashtag real life.
And it's a great cast too. And just want to shout out a few new people joining us. We have Ronald J joined us, mentioned Love When Calls the Heart as a show, and then Joyce Machado. We were actually just talking about you, Joyce, in our that you just joined our ministry, children's ministry, and you had suggested Love When Calls. Or I'm sorry, you suggested the Tulsa is very good, but you also put down, I think it was Ted Lasso. Yeah, Ted Lasso. And so, but and Laura had mentioned that they cut cable in '96 and haven't gotten back to watching shows. She feels like a weirdo, but she does watch The Chosen and random movies. I feel like '96 was around the highlight of the Friday night lineup. Remember that? Like you couldn't miss Boy Meets World, Family Matters, Perfect Strangers, Step by Step. I still can remember the entire theme song. Couldn't miss those shows. So I think it was around that time. I could be dating myself, but I think that's around Full House, of course.
Oh yeah, Full House.
Yeah, Full House.
100%.
So, but we have also joining us is Tigger Pun Jr. said hello. So first time viewer, thanks for joining us. And we're talking about all the things right now. So if you have any questions, we have 10 minutes left on this broadcast. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to, those of you that might be seeing some of the comments from our friend T.E. Lawrence, why couldn't the hurricane hit here? I think it's good that we dodged the hurricane, but that's just shaking her head.
You win.
But yeah, no, thanks for the suggestions on there. I think we do have the Apple TV came with our subscription to the cell phone plan, and there's some good stuff on there. And then there's some it's funny. Seems to be some good things, and then like shows that I forgot about for 30 years, like Supermarket Sweep and Unsolved Mystery. I was driving Eileen crazy because I had Supermarket Sweep on.
She watched that show every morning for like a week. And like I hadn't even had coffee yet, and all of a sudden I hear this like, and he's running down the aisle, and he's grabbing the turkeys, he's got 7 turkeys. What's he gonna get next? And I'm like, no.
I know Vianney is on with us. I'm not sure why it says Ronald J, but that's okay, Vianney. That's cool. Maybe that's your secret code name, so we'll call you that from now on. But and the birthday, the man of the hour birthday weekend, Robert Shoemaker is with us. Big win for his Bengals today. Cincinnati beating Carolina Panthers. So thank you guys for all joining with us. And Joyce, again, thank you for being on here. But with Supermarket Sweep, if you remember that show, put a thumbs up in the chat, because that show, I mean, those sweatshirts were the real deal. That poor host, I don't know what he got paid, but hopefully there was a bonus clause in his contract to wear those.
Remember how people would pop their collar out of their sweatshirt?
Now, fun fact, those of you that did watch the Supermarket Sweep show, if you remember, the premise of that show is you load up your cart with as much groceries as possible, and the person with the most amount of merchandise or whatever would win and go to the bonus round. Well, all that meat that you saw was fake. It was actually fake. It was staged meat. None of that was real, for obvious reasons. So you always would see people throw 5 in the cart and then get another 5 in a cart. It was not real. It was a stage set. Some of the groceries were real, but the meat and things like that were not, because I was curious about that. But
did you look that up, Michael?
I did look that up because I was curious. Yes, sometimes we Google a little too much, but that's okay. But and
Yep.
Marianne mentions the best is Friends.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then T. Lawrence mentions Stranger Things. Look, I don't know if Stranger Things 5 or Avatar 3 is going to come first. I feel like we're going to be old and crotchety by the time those things come out.
How you doing?
Yeah. But, you know, but Robert, just wanted to shout out anything. Did you guys put in the comments? Did you do anything outside of Friday night? Come into Man Cave. Thank you for coming. 50 men fellowshipping on Friday night was awesome to see. But if you did anything other exciting for your birthday, go ahead and throw that in the chat. Would like to see that. I can't with his comments.
I know I'm gonna have to delete so much stuff.
No, we do not. We're not
Folks,
sponsored by any of those places. We are happily sponsored by Nashville Tax Solutions, where tax resolution is achieved. Well, who else can say that? I'm just saying. But another. So we've got 8 minutes left here in the chat. Continue to throw in any normal questions in the chat that you might have that we can tackle here in these last 7 minutes. But a new week ahead. We're about to come into October, the last part of the year. That means that it's not going to be much longer. Most Dollar Generals already have Christmas stuff put out, but we're here in our household. We love putting out fall decorations. I am a fanatic. Every time I go to Dollar General, I like spaz out and want to buy the entire aisle. So our entire house is fall themed. So. And those of you, I just want to make sure one more time, T. Lawrence is a good friend of ours. He is not a person that's just typing weird things that we don't know. He is a friend of ours that is just having fun.
He thinks he's funny. That's what it is. He thinks he's funny.
So we do pray for him daily, though. But yes, but
I told him, hey, we're going live tonight. You should come on. This is what I get. This is why we can't have nice things, Penguinito.
Right? Right. But Jeez. So I was gonna get into something I wanted to hit on next, but I mean, do you have anything else on your end before my final thoughts out there?
No, go ahead. I will have to let you know my battery is getting low, so you take your final thoughts and make them look wonderful.
Final thoughts. I feel like, wasn't that Jerry Springer that had final thoughts?
He did. Yes,
he turned to the camera a certain way.
Hold on, I'm coming. I'm just kidding. He's gonna come fight.
Yes, but Walmart was throwing up the Christmas stuff today. I feel like they started before they even put it out Halloween stuff. They were putting out Christmas stuff. I would love to see the Dollar General, like the back room. Like I feel like it's because they get it out so quickly. I just don't understand how they do it. And shout out to Dollar General. I think we're there 2 times a day. Our family, we believe that Dollar Generals are just planted at random places throughout Brevard County. Like they're not there and then they're there and they're growing in like the middle of the woods. They're not even out on main roads, but they're everywhere. But we love our Dollar General because if we live out in the boonies like we do, it's the closest thing so we can get what we need. So shout out to Dollar General. Shout out to Cumberland Farms. They're popping up everywhere as well. But us here in our area, we're excited. Some Starbucks coming our way. Just heard that there's a Chipotle coming to Malabar Road. So that's exciting. We do wish we had a little bit more restaurants. We were just talking about those of you familiar with the Bayside area, there's slim options. There's a couple places here and there, but by hopefully sooner than later, we'll get some good stuff. So we don't have to go all the way out to Melbourne for that. But as we close this thing out, I just wanted to thank each of you. We call this episode All the Things. I feel like we'll get to do this again and shoot us some comments, some things that you'd like for us to talk about in those future episodes. I know sometimes we're heavy sports topics here on the show, but we always have fun no matter what we're talking about. So just stay tuned. Exciting things coming your way. We mentioned Robert Shoemaker will actually be live with us on October the 13th, talking Cincinnati Bengals football. We mentioned earlier Brian Anderson on October 20th. We'll be covering the Washington Commanders. Heck, we might even cover Dollar General one episode. I don't know.
No,
but
we're not.
No, we're not. Okay. No, we're going to skip that episode.
No,
okay.
we are not.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we would probably have to like pay them some copyright information or something.
Right. With as much as we go, though, they should have like a frequent customer card where you nine punches and you get something for free. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
limit one per ticket.
Yeah, one per ticket.
Right, T.D. Lawrence?
Yes. But we're going to close this thing down, guys. Thank you so much. Please continue to share the word about this channel. It's becoming such a highlight of my week every Sunday night and sometimes Thursday nights to be able to spend some time with you guys and just talk about whatever we're talking about. And again, just thank you so much. 1,100 subscribers. We weren't even a channel just over 6 months ago. So that is a testament to you guys and sharing and letting your friends and family know about us. So like Eileen said at the top of the hour, we want 1,500 by the end of this year. That is my goal. We're going to celebrate the New Year's with 1,500 subscribers. That's the goal. We're just 400 away. We can do this. So again, thank you, Vianney, for jumping on. Thank you, Robert and Brian and T. Lawrence, even. Yes, you. And Marianne and everybody else. Thank you so much. And if you have podcast ideas, that things, like I said, we want to talk about, shoot us our way. But thank you. If you're the first time watching us, thank you for hopping on with us here. And until next time, everybody, we'll see you around the ballpark.